Today, we're diving into one of the most unsettling survival horror movies of the decade, The Green Inferno, directed by Eli Roth. This is not just a story about cannibals in the jungle, it's about how good intentions can turn into a nightmare when arrogance meets nature. So sit back, and let's decode the full story, from the first spark of activism to the final haunting silence of the Amazon. Our story begins in bustling New York City, where a college student named Justine lives a quiet life on campus. She's intelligent, curious, and idealistic, still figuring out what kind of person she wants to be. One morning, as she heads to class, she hears loud chanting outside the university gates. A group of student activists are protesting child labor and environmental destruction. They wear t-shirts with slogans, wave banners, and shout about saving the planet. Among them, one face stands out, Alejandro, the confident and passionate leader of the group. His energy and intensity instantly captured Justine's attention. Later that day, during a lecture on global issues, Justine learns about the horrors of female genital mutilation practiced in certain tribes. The topic shakes her deeply. That night, she talks to her roommate, expressing how helpless she feels. She wants to make a difference, not just sit around and study while the world suffers. When she meets Alejandro again, he tells her about an upcoming mission. His group is traveling to the Amazon rainforest to stop an oil company from destroying indigenous land. Their plan is to chain themselves to bulldozers, record the protest live, and expose the destruction online. Justine is nervous but intrigued. Her father, a lawyer working for the United Nations, warns her against it. But Alejandro's passion convinces her. He says if they don't act now, entire tribes will vanish forever. The group flies to Peru, carrying banners, phones, and hope. There are 12 members in total: Alejandro, his girlfriend Kara, Jonah, Lars, Daniel, Amy, and a few others. They're all excited and idealistic, talking about how their video will change the world. Alejandro's local contact, a man named Carlos, drives them deep into the jungle. On the way, the group records videos of the forest and its beauty, tall trees, rivers, and sounds of exotic birds. It feels like an adventure, almost like a vacation, until they reach the heart of the rainforest. That's when things start to feel different. The air is thick, the sounds are strange, and the deeper they go, the more isolated it becomes. Finally, they arrive at the construction site. Massive bulldozers roar as trees fall. Workers in helmets cut down the forest while guards armed with guns stand nearby. Alejandro signals the group, this is it. They wear masks, start their live stream, and run toward the machines shouting slogans. Stop destroying the Amazon! Save the tribes! The workers are shocked, the guards confused. The activists chain themselves to the machines and begin filming. Alejandro shouts orders, making sure every camera angle captures their bravery. But when one of the guards points a gun directly at Justine's head, she panics. The live stream keeps rolling, and thousands begin watching. Within minutes, the situation goes viral. News outlets pick it up, the oil company faces outrage, and police helicopters arrive to stop the chaos. The activists cheer, believing they've won. But their victory doesn't last long. The next day, they board a small private plane to return home. They're laughing, singing, and celebrating their success. Justine texts her father, telling him she's safe and that their mission worked. But midway through the flight, one of the engines fails. The plane shakes violently, losing altitude. The pilot shouts something in Spanish before the screen goes black. The aircraft crashes into the dense jungle, breaking apart mid-air. Metal tears through the trees. The sound of screaming fills the forest. When the dust settles, the survivors realize the nightmare has just begun. Justine wakes up, her face covered in blood, surrounded by wreckage. The jungle is eerily silent except for distant animal calls. Some of her friends are dead, their bodies hanging from the trees. Others are injured and crying for help. The survivors, Alejandro, Justine, Lars, Daniel, Kara, and a few others, gather what they can and try to signal for rescue. But before they can plan their next move, they hear drums echoing from the forest. Figures painted in red emerge from the trees. Dozens of them, carrying spears and bows. At first, the group thinks they're villagers coming to help. But the look in their eyes says otherwise. Within moments, the activists are surrounded, tied with vines, and dragged away. They're taken across the river in canoes, deeper into the unknown. The tribe's village looks ancient and ritualistic, huts made of branches, skulls hanging as decorations, and hundreds of villagers watching silently. The old woman, clearly their leader, approaches. Her face is painted bright yellow, and her eyes stare with curiosity. She examines each of the captured students carefully. When she reaches Jonah, the kind and gentle activist, she touches his face, then points at him. The crowd cheers. Jonah is taken to a stone table. The others scream as they realize something is terribly wrong. What follows is one of the most disturbing scenes in horror. The tribe performs a ritualistic killing. Jonah's eyes are gouged out, his tongue cut off, and his body dismembered before being cooked and eaten. The others watch in paralyzed horror. Their mission to save the tribe has turned into a fight for their own survival. Days pass. The survivors are kept in wooden cages, starving and terrified. They're fed a bowl of meat, which Lars suspects might be from Jonah. Kara breaks down, screaming uncontrollably. Alejandro remains calm, trying to think logically, but his leadership starts to fade. The tribe guards them constantly, never speaking their language. At night, drums echo through the jungle, and fires burn, painting everything in orange light. One day, a young boy from the tribe sneaks close to their cage, curious about them. Justine tries to speak softly, hoping to earn his trust. But when the boy steals her phone and runs, their only chance to call for help disappears. Alejandro becomes desperate. He tells Justine that this isn't the end, that they can still escape if they stay smart. But the others are losing hope. They can hear distant screams every night, probably from other victims. Daniel, one of the braver members, digs under the cage and finds a soft patch of earth. He and Justine plan to escape after sunset. When the moon rises, they slip through the hole and crawl out quietly. The forest is pitch dark, filled with insect sounds. For the first time since the crash, they feel a glimpse of freedom. But as they move through the jungle, Daniel steps on a trap. A sharp wooden spike pierces his leg. He screams, and the sound alerts the guards. Justine tries to help, but the villagers arrive, capturing them again. Daniel is dragged back bleeding, while Justine is separated and taken to a different hut. Inside the hut, the old woman paints Justine's face with red and black colors. Other women bring ceremonial clothing and dress her in white fabric. Justine realizes she's being prepared for a ritual sacrifice. The tribe believes she's a virgin offering meant to please their gods. Alejandro, who's still in the cage, finally confesses to the others that he knew about this possibility. He admits he used the group. He wanted publicity, fame, and exposure, not justice. He says the protest was staged to gain attention, not to save anyone. Justine is horrified. She realizes that her good heart was manipulated from the start. Everything she believed in has been a lie. Meanwhile, Lars, desperate to survive, comes up with a risky idea. He hides marijuana in the tribe's food supply, hoping the guards will eat it, get high, and pass out. Hours later, the tribe begins to act strange, laughing, dancing, and stumbling. It's chaotic. Seizing the moment, Lars and Amy try to escape. They run through the jungle, breathing heavily, the drums echoing behind them. But their hope is short-lived. Children from the tribe chase them, attacking Lars with spears. He's dragged away screaming while Amy hides. When Amy returns to the camp, she sees what's left of him, and in shock, takes her own life using a sharp bone. The next morning, the tribe finds her body and angrily beats on the cage, blaming the others. Now only Justine, Alejandro, and Daniel remain. The old woman prepares for the final ritual. Justine is brought to the stone altar, tied down while the tribe chants. The leader raises a blade over her. But before the ritual can complete, the sound of helicopters fills the air. Government soldiers hired by the oil company have arrived. They open fire on the village, killing several tribesmen. In the chaos, Justine manages to break free. She grabs a machete, cuts her ropes, and runs through the burning camp. She finds Daniel still barely alive but mortally wounded. He tells her to run and never look back. Justine flees into the forest, chased by arrows and fire. She reaches the river and jumps in, swimming through deadly waters filled with piranhas. Blood clouds the surface as she fights to reach the other side. Exhausted and trembling, she finally emerges on the riverbank, collapsing from exhaustion. The next morning, she wakes up inside a rescue helicopter, surrounded by soldiers. Her body is bruised, her eyes empty. When asked about what happened, she lies. She says the tribe helped her, that they were peaceful and innocent. The officer notes her statement, and says she's lucky to be alive. Back in New York, Justine gives an interview to the media. The world believes her story. She tells everyone that the tribe was misunderstood, and that the tragedy was caused by the plane crash, not violence. But deep down, she knows the truth. Every time she closes her eyes, she hears the drums, the screams, and the whispers of the forest. Life goes back to normal, but she's not the same person anymore. She's haunted, not just by what happened, but by what she's become. As the credits roll, we see satellite footage of the jungle, suggesting something is still alive. Then the phone rings. It's Alejandro's sister calling Justine, saying her brother is alive, seen deep in the jungle with the tribe. The screen fades to black, leaving us with a chilling thought: maybe Alejandro became one of them, the very thing he once pretended to protect.